All right, so welcome to lesson 11-3. Yesterday, hopefully you did great on adding decimals to the hundredths spot, because today the only difference is you're going to do that exact same thing, subtracting to the hundredths spot, with the key thing being to line up those decimals. All right, so let's look at our lesson today. Again, we are not going to take time to be using models. We're going to just compute it using numbers at this time. So let's look at subtracting decimals to the hundredths. Again, we're on lesson 11-3. When you go to do your homework, make sure you're checking what pages you need to be doing. Diego heats 8/10 of a liter of water in a pot until the water boils. After a few minutes, he turns the heat off and measures the remaining water. There is 44 hundredths of a liter of water remaining. How much has evaporated? All right, so how much has left the pot? To find out the amount of water that evaporated, we're going to take our, let's find a smaller. We started with 8 hundredths, and there's 44 hundredths left, so we need to subtract that to find out what actually evaporated. So we have 8/10 minus 44 hundredths. All right, so let's actually do that. We're gonna skip down and actually compute it rather than using our blocks. So we have 8/10 minus 44 hundredths. Again, look here, very important, these are lined up. You can bring it right down to the answer. And now we need to subtract. And just like with our addition, you're gonna wanna go ahead and fill in these empty spots with zeros. They're not going to affect anything, the value, but it makes it nice and even to be able to do our subtraction. So let's go ahead and subtract. 0 minus 4, don't tell me that it's 4. 0, take away 4, you can't do that. So we're going to borrow from the 8, and we're going to add that right there. So this is now 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. We have our decimal point. And we always put this 0 here if there's not a whole number. All right, so we have 0.36 or 36 hundredths. Let's do a few examples. Make sure that we know how to line up our decimals and regroup. All right, so let's go ahead and look here at, let's do number 13. These are already lined up for you. You see there's a blank spot there. What do we do with that? We're gonna go ahead and put a 0 in. 3 minus 0 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. We've got 43 hundredths. That one's pretty easy. Let's look at these ones down here. 17 through 20, where we start getting into what we are not afraid of, algebra. All right, this is like pre-algebra. We're starting to mix our numbers in. Make this a little bigger here. We're starting to mix our numbers in with our letters, but never fear. What does a letter mean? A letter just means it's an unknown value. Sometimes they even tell you what is 3 minus n if n equals 2. Well, then just plug in that value. So let's look at how they're using letters here. 5 and 84 hundredths minus n. What is that? When n equals 3/10. So you just need to slip in that place of n. It says n is equal to 3/10. So put that in there. Now you've got 5 and 84 hundredths minus n, minus 3/10. All right, here we've got this blank spot, so I'm just going to fill it in with a 0 so everything's nice and neat, and we can do our subtraction. 4 minus 0 is 4. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 minus 0 is 5. So we have 5 and 54 hundredths. All right, so it looks like for all of these, it's just giving you an amount, saying subtract n when n equals this. You're just going to plug that number in for all of those. All right? Go ahead and take some time and do your classwork and or your homework, whatever is set up for you to do, and I think you will be fine on subtracting those decimals.